How is climate change affecting Zambia?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. Climate change, the adverse effects of climate change are affecting Zambia greatly because, as you know, the majority of our people live in rural areas and therefore are dependent on the environment for their sustainability. So we have subsistence farmers, we have old people, vulnerable groups that live off the land. So of course when there are climatic variations like floods and droughts, they suffer the worst effects of climate change. You have a situation where an old woman who is used to a predictable rain pattern suddenly finds that instead of raining for 4 months, it rains for 2 months. And therefore whatever she put in the soil does not yield anything for her because the rain pattern has changed and it has reduced. And then you also have the effects of flooding, where poor and vulnerable communities put together the little resources they have, cultivate, they put fertilizer, chemical fertilizers, and then the crop grows. And then the floods come and all that is washed away. So certainly, even though Zambia is one of the countries that does not contribute significantly to climate change or emissions, it suffers the worst in terms of the impact of climate change. And this is why for us as Zambia, while we are trying to ensure that we create awareness for our people to understand and within our resources to come up with ways to adapt to the effects of climate change, we feel that it is the duty of our colleagues in the industrialized world who have contributed significantly to the emissions that have led to climate change to do their best to ensure that they help us adapt to the effects of climate change. After all, they have the capacity and they must just find a way of looking at this issue morally and also as a human rights issue. There is really no moral explanation for the Western world, for the industrialized world to continue while people in the least developed countries are suffering from the effects of climate change to which they have not contributed. So it is really a matter of morality, and for me as minister who comes from a country that is underdeveloped, is struggling so much just to provide issues of bread and butter, it is saddening to see that the West, which is contributing by polluting, is keeping quiet. We want and we demand that as we go to Copenhagen, we get additional pledges and funding for adaptation for African countries.